I was 9 months pregnant and ready to pop any day. But my husband, Beto Falcone, underboss of the crime family, had locked me up. He kept me in the sterile underground medical room and shot me up with drugs to stop my labor. I was screaming from the pain, and he just told me to deal with it. Why? Because his brother's widow, Scarlet, was about to have her baby. At the same time, he'd made some blood oath with his dead brother that whoever had the first son would get the family's West Coast territory. That inheritance belongs to Scarlet's kid, he said. Demon's dead, and she has got nothing. You have my love, Alessia. All of it. Just let her deliver first. Then it is your turn. The drugs were killing me. I begged him to take me to a hospital. Then he grabbed my throat and stared me down. Cut the act. You are fine. You just want to steal that inheritance. You do anything to beat Scarlet. My face was white. My body was shaking as I whispered, the baby's coming. I don't care about the inheritance. I love you and I want our baby born safe. He laughed in my face. If you were really that innocent, if you loved me at all, you wouldn't have made Scarlet sign away her kid's inheritance rights. Don't worry. I'll come back after she gives birth. You are carrying my kid after all. He spent all night outside Scarlet's delivery room. Only after he saw her holding the newborn did he remember me. Then he sent his right-hand man, Marco, to let me out. But when Marco called, his voice was shaking. Boss, wife and the baby, they're gone. That is when Beto Falcone broke. I was dragging myself across the floor, crawling toward the steel door, pregnant belly and all. The heavy door slammed shut and caught my fingers. I heard bones crack. The pain from my broken fingers was somehow worse than the drugs. I screamed, but Beto only cared about Scarlet. He didn't hear me. Then I felt warm liquid running down my legs. My water broke, and I was terrified. The only light was a dim green exit sign above the door. I tried to stay calm, banging on the door and screaming for help. But this was Vito's private surgical room, soundproof and isolated. No windows. No. Nobody could hear me. The baby was kicking hard, like it was trying to escape this prison. I was soaked. Couldn't tell if it was sweat or blood. The drugs were killing me, slowly draining my strength. I used my last bit of energy for one more scream. Finally, I heard footsteps. Please help me. I screamed. I am locked in. I am in labor. I kept repeating it, thinking I was saved. Then I heard a voice, cruel and mocking. Well, Alessia. Look at you. Vito should have taught you to behave. A long time ago. It was Vito's sister, Gianna. I tried to keep my voice steady. Gianna, please let me out. The baby's coming. I can't hold on. Gianna pushed the door open and looked down at me with disgust. For a second, I thought she'd help. Then she kicked me in the ribs. I couldn't breathe. Everything went black for a moment. Let you out so you can mess up Scarlet's delivery? Stay put, Alessia. Vito sent me to watch you. You are not good enough for Vito. He wants you to stay here and think about what you've done. He has got enough problems without you causing more. Charlotte's kid will be the heir. Your tricks won't change that. Another contraction hit and I screamed. Tears ran down my face. My kid won't be part of the family business. I'll give up everything. Tell Vito. Let me go. I'll disappear and never come back. I swear. My screaming just made her angrier. Slut. Were you trying to seduce? With all that noise? She got on her walkie-talkie to Vito. The pain from the drugs and labor was tearing me apart. No problem, Vito. I've got her under control, she said. When I heard Vito's voice, I had hope. Had to care about me. About our baby. I screamed as loud as I could. Vito. The baby's coming right now. Please have Gianna take me to the hospital. Gianna hesitated. I heard her whisper into the walkie-talkie. Vito. I think she is telling the truth. The way she is screaming, I don't think she is faking. Maybe I should take her to the hospital. It is your only kid after all. If something happens. Vito paused for a few seconds. His voice softened. Fine. You can take her. Just then a sweet voice came from his end. Vito, honey. I am thirsty. Could you get me some champagne? The doctor says I need to relax to deliver our little prince. Oh, is Alessia in labor? It is nothing, honey. It doesn't even hurt. Honestly, I feel like I could run a marathon. Alessia is strong. She'll be fine. Of course it didn't hurt her. The whole medical team was with her in her fancy private delivery room. She was being treated like royalty. Charlotte's few words changed everything. Vito's voice went cold. What could go wrong? She is acting. She is trying to trick you. Don't fall for it. You'll look like an idiot if you believe her. The walkie-talkie went dead. Gianna was pissed at being scolded, so she took it out on me. She pulled a snake from a leather case and came at me. You want to know what real pain is? Let me teach you a lesson with my pet. Rihanna held the black viper in my face. Its tongue flicked out and its cold scales touched my arm. No. Before I could finish, the snake bit deep into my arm. The venom burned through my veins like fire. Every heartbeat pushed the poison deeper. I tried to stay calm, one hand on my stomach, the other pressing the wound. But the venom stopped my blood from clotting. Dark blood poured from the bite. I curled up in a ball, too scared to move me. Snake is very well behaved. It never bites, Gianna said, picking up her snake. But when she pulled it back, she felt something wet. She looked down and saw my blood on its fangs. And my vision started to blur. It felt like knives were cutting up my insides. The snake bite had turned purple, black. Still bleeding. I could feel myself dying. Gianna didn't leave. Her face went from satisfied to crazy mad. You bitch. What did you do? She kicked me in the stomach. I almost passed out. My Medusa. She screamed. You hurt her. She is worth more than you and that bastard combined. The room was dark. She grabbed my hair and yanked my head up. You hurt her, you disgusting slut. She petted the snake. My baby must have been scared of you. Another kick. Each one hit me in my baby's heart. All I could do was curl around my stomach. Too weak to fight. Why aren't you screaming now? Keep acting. Please don't hurt the baby. The baby. Gianna sneered. Stop using the kid as a shield. She stroked the snake with one hand and pulled out a spray bottle. With the other, white mist filled the room. I started to pass out. Now you can lie there and think about your place, she said. Only Scarlet's bloodline deserves to inherit the family empire. She left, but not before spraying more gas around the room. The gas made my body convulse, adding to the snake venom already in my system. In my haze of pain, I heard it. My unborn baby crying. A tiny voice in my head. Mommy, mommy, help me. It was my baby. In the hallucination, I saw a small figure reaching for me. Mommy, I am so scared. It hurts. Baby. Mommy's here. I reached out, trying to hold him, but my arms grabbed nothing. I was supposed to meet my baby today. To hold him. He was so close. Why was fate this cruel? I broke down crying. I touched my belly. My sweet baby. Mommy failed you. If there is a next life, I hope you are born to parents who love each other. My breathing got weak, blood thickening in my veins. The door opened, bright light flooding in. Oh my God. The family doctor saw me lying in blood and stepped back in horror. My God. Who are you? What did you do to make the boss punish you like this? Even as a doctor, his first thought wasn't to save me. I am Vito's wife, I whispered. I lifted my hand to show my wedding ring. The engraved initials were covered in blood, but you could still see our names. He recognized the ring and started to help, then stopped. He carefully dialed Vito's number. Boss, I found Mrs. Alessia in the underground surgical room. She is critical, lost lots of blood. Looks like she has been poisoned. Vito sounded suspicious. Poisoned? That is impossible. She is not bleeding. Doctor, that is my sister's snake's blood. Gianna already called me mad that Alessia somehow hurt her pet. His voice got cold. She is perfectly healthy. Just another trick to deliver first. Don't worry about her. I'll handle this. The doctor tried to explain more, but Vito hung up, looked at me with pity, then walked past to move some equipment. Just when I thought he'd leave me, he turned back. There are 2 lives here. I am a doctor. I can't just watch you die, he said. My wife's pregnant too. I wouldn't want her alone with no help. That is why I am helping you. Finally, he picked me up from the blood and carried me to the medical center. I was relieved my baby was saved. But when we got there, we both froze. The room was empty. All the equipment, medicine, even the surgical tables gone. On the equipment, the doctor said, where did it all go? The answer was obvious. Vito had moved everything to Scarlet's private clinic. Everything that could have saved me and my baby. The doctor went pale. He knew I was dying and needed a real hospital. He frantically called Vito's private number. Boss, emergency. Mrs. Alessia has been badly poisoned. She needs help now. She is dying. Vito sounded annoyed and angry. Alessia, nice performance. Not only did you get out, you described our best doctor. Let me be clear. I am not falling for your games. I know you too well. Nothing's wrong with you. So stop trying to trick me. I told you he is my kid. I am not abandoning my son. But you have to wait until Scarlet's done. Why can't you just wait? I admit I underestimated you. Now behave, or you know what happens when you defy me. He hung up. The doctor stared at his phone. Then at me. Barely alive. He made a decision. Long shot. But I'm taking you to the private clinic. I never thought he'd take me to Scarlet's clinic. Through the glass doors, I saw bright lights and busy staff. All the best medical equipment was there. The staff that should have saved my life. The doctor begged the staff, explaining to the head nurse. She just shook her head. The boss's orders are clear. Everything's for Mrs. Scarlet. No one else. Without authorization. But she is dying. Not our problem. Because of Vito's orders, I couldn't even get a painkiller. Then a tall figure appeared. It was Marco, Vito's second in command. He saw me covered in blood and went white. And he rushed to Vito. Boss, there is a woman outside covered in blood? She looks exactly like Mrs. Alessia. Vito frowned and rubbed his temples. Impossible. He said flatly. She is fine. Pregnant, yes. But fine. No way she could have gotten here. Marco tried again, quieter. Maybe you should look for yourself, boss. If it is her, your child could be in danger. Vito lost it. I said it is impossible. Are you deaf? If it was really Alessia, you think she'd need you to tell me? She'd have stormed in here herself. A woman that vain, so obsessed with how she looks, would never let anyone see her like that. Use your brain. After that, Marco could only shake his head. I am sorry, he said to me. I can't help you. The doctor looked helplessly at the closed treatment room doors. His face was full of guilt. But I knew he'd done all he could. I wanted to tell him not to blame himself. But I had no strength left. The blood loss, the venom, the drugs, all killing me. Faster. I could hear the medical staff talking quietly. Mrs. Scarlet's baby is about to be born. We have to stay with her. But this woman's critical. She'll die without help. The poison's in her organs. And the baby's heartbeat is getting weaker. Get the emergency kit now. I felt sharp pain in my stomach. Different from contractions. This was death. My hand on my stomach. My swollen belly was getting flattened. Why, baby? Forgive me. My precious boy. Mommy failed you. I couldn't protect you. I cried one last tear. Then everything went black. Vito paced outside the delivery room. He'd waited by Scarlet's side all night. When the door opened, he rushed to her bed. Congratulations, boss. It is a healthy boy. Vito looked at the baby in Scarlet's arms. His eyes bright. He is beautiful, he said softly to Scarlet. Just like you. The family heir was finally born. Then he paused. A thought crossed his mind. Who would Alessia's kid look like? If it was a girl, she'd probably look like her mom, especially with those amber eyes. After getting the baby to sleep, Vito turned to leave. The long day was finally over. And he finally remembered. Marco, go get Alessia. It is over. Time for her to see the baby. Scarlet's safe. Tell her she can deliver now. Marco stood frozen. His body shook with terror. Vito couldn't understand. After a long moment, he forced out the words in a raw whisper. Boss, Mrs. Alessia and the baby. They're gone. Gone. Vito repeated, the word tasting like ash in his mouth. He chuckled, a dark, hollow sound. Don't be dramatic, Marco. You mean she ran away? She went to her parents? Find her. Drag her back if you have to. Marco didn't move. He didn't bow his head. He looked at the dawn of the Falcone family with something Vito had never seen in a subordinate's eyes before. Pity. Boss. Marco's voice cracked. There is so much blood. The doctor. Dr. Eris. He couldn't stop it. The venom. The shock. Vito felt the world tilt on its axis. He shoved Marco aside, the heavy doors of the waiting area slamming against the wall as he sprinted down the corridor. He ignored the nurses cooing over Scarlet's baby in the nursery window. He ignored Scarlet calling out his name from her luxury suite. He ran until his lungs burned, bursting through the double doors of the emergency entrance where Marco had come from. The scene froze him. It was a massacre. Not of enemies, but of innocents. There was a stretcher near the ambulance bay. A white sheet covered a body. But the sheet wasn't white anymore. It was soaked in a deep, terrifying crimson. Beside it, Dr. Eris sat on the curb, his head in his bloody hands, his white coat stained with the evidence of a war he had lost. Alessia? Vito whispered. He approached the stretcher. His hands, usually steady enough to pull a trigger from 100 yards, were trembling so violently he could barely grip the sheet. Don't, Dr. Eris said, his voice dead. He didn't stand up. He didn't show respect. You don't deserve to see her. Not after what you did. Vito roared, a sound of pure animal rage, and ripped the sheet back. Alessia's face was pale, a ghostly white that looked blue under the harsh fluorescent lights of the ambulance bay. Her lips, usually pink and smiling, were gray. Her arm, the one he used to kiss, was swollen, black and purple from the necrosis of the viper bite. But it was her eyes that broke him. They were half open, staring at nothing, glazed over with the finality of death. And her stomach. Her beautiful, round stomach where his son had kicked, it was still. No, Vito gasped. He fell to his knees on the asphalt. No, Alessia. Wake up. Stop acting. The game is over. You win. Okay. You win. Just wake up. He grabbed her shoulders, shaking her stiff body. Alessia. I said wake up. She died screaming for you. Dr. Eris said, standing up now, his eyes burning with hatred. She begged for you. She told us to save the baby. But the venom, it was Gianna's viper. It causes immediate coagulopathy. She bled out from the inside, Vito. And because you ordered us to stay with Scarlet, we were 5 minutes too late. Vito pressed his ear to her chest. Silence. He pressed his ear to her stomach. Silence. My son. Vito choked out. Dead. Eris lied smoothly, though his heart hammered against his ribs. The hypoxia killed the infant before the mother passed. You killed them both, Falcone. You chose a sister who is a psychopath and a sister-in-law who is a gold digger over the woman who would have burned the world for you. Vito screamed. It was a sound that shattered the windows of the clinic. He pulled Alessia's cold body into his arms, rocking her, getting her blood all over his expensive suit, the suit he had worn to welcome the heir. Gianna, Vito growled, the name dripping with venom. He gently laid Alessia down. He kissed her cold forehead, his tears mixing with the blood on her face. I will fix this, he whispered to the corpse. I will make them pay. 3 days later, the funeral was closed casket. Vito had insisted on the finest marble mausoleum for Alessia and their unborn son, whom he named Santino, posthumously. But the Vito Falcone who left the cemetery was not the same man. He returned to the Falcone estate, where the celebration for Scarlet's baby, Lorenzo, was underway. The house was filled with music and laughter. Vito walked in, covered in rain, his eyes dead. Gianna ran up to him, holding a glass of champagne. Vito. Finally. Stop moping. She was weak, Vito. She died because she was weak. Now look at Lorenzo. The heir. Scarlet was on the sofa, holding her baby, looking triumphant. Vito, honey, come hold the future of the West Coast. Vito walked over to Gianna. He didn't shout. He didn't scream. He simply reached out, grabbed her by the throat, and lifted her off the ground. The room went silent. The music stopped. Vito. Gianna gagged, clawing at his hand. You used a snake, Vito said softly. You poisoned my wife. She provoked me. Gianna wheezed. Marco, Vito said, not looking away from his sister's bulging eyes. Take Gianna to the basement. The soundproof one. The one without windows. Vito. No. Scarlet screamed. She's your sister. Vito threw Gianna to the floor. She gasped for air, coughing. You like pets, Gianna? Vito looked down at her. I'm going to put you in that room. And I'm going to fill it with every venomous thing I can find. Let's see how well-behaved they are. You can't. Scarlet cried. Vito, focus on Lorenzo. Vito turned his cold gaze to Scarlet. He walked over to the bassinet. He looked at the baby. The baby had dark hair, but his eyes, they were blue. Bright blue. The Falcones had dark eyes. Scarlet had brown eyes. Vito's dead brother had dark eyes. Blue eyes, Vito murmured. Scarlet froze. It's a recessive gene. From my grandmother. Vito signaled the family doctor. A new one, since Dr. Aris had resigned and vanished the day after the death. Test the child. Now. Vito, how dare you? Scarlet shrieked. If he is my brother's son, he gets the West Coast, Vito said, his voice flat. If he is not, then you follow Gianna to the basement. 1 hour later, the rapid test results came back. Vito held the paper. 0% match to the Falcone bloodline. The silence in the room was heavier than the grave. Scarlet was trembling, clutching the baby. It was the pool boy, Vito said, reading the report. Or perhaps the driver. It doesn't matter. Vito, please, Scarlet begged, falling to her knees. I just wanted to secure the future. Your brother left me with nothing. You took everything from me, Vito whispered. Because of your greed, I ignored Alessia. Because of your lie, my wife and son are dead. Vito turned his back. Marco. Throw her out. She gets nothing. No money. No protection. Let the streets have her. If she steps foot in my territory again, kill her. As Scarlet was dragged away screaming, and Gianna's muffled cries echoed from the basement, Vito sat alone in his massive, empty house. He had his revenge. But he had nothing. 5 years later, the Amalfi Coast, Italy. The woman sat on the terrace of the villa, overlooking the sparkling Mediterranean Sea. She wore a wide-brimmed hat and dark sunglasses. To the locals, she was Signora Elena Moretti, a wealthy widow who ran a successful shipping logistics company. She sipped her espresso, her left arm resting on the table. A long, jagged scar ran up her forearm. The mark of a viper. Manga. A little boy 4 years old came running out of the villa. He had messy black hair and amber eyes that shone like gold in the sun. He was strong, fast, and fiercely intelligent. Enzo, careful, she said, her voice soft but firm. She caught him as he jumped into her lap. Uncle Aris is here. Enzo chirped. Dr. Aris stepped onto the terrace. He looked older, tired, but safe. Alessia, he greeted her quietly. Don't call me that, she replied, her eyes scanning the horizon. Alessia Falcone died in a parking lot in America. Elena. We have a problem, Elena, Aris said, sitting down. The shipping contract you bid on. The one for the port in Naples. I won it fair and square, she said. Yes. But the client wants a face-to-face meeting to finalize the security protocols. They are expanding their operations from the west coast of America. Alessia's blood ran cold. She set her cup down. Who is the client? Aris hesitated. It's the Falcone Corporation. Vito is coming to Italy. Alessia looked at Enzo, who was playing with a toy car on the floor. He was the spitting image of his father. If Vito saw him, he would know instantly. Let him come, Alessia said, her voice turning into steel. I'm not the scared pregnant girl in the basement anymore, Aris. I built an empire from the ashes he left me in. If he comes here, he won't find his wife. He'll find his equal. The meeting was held in a neutral hotel in Naples. Vito Falcone walked in, flanked by Marco. Vito looked like a man made of stone. His hair had grayed at the temples. His eyes were dead, devoid of light. For 5 years he had been a machine, expanding the Falcone empire, destroying his enemies, but never taking another woman. He wore his wedding ring on a chain around his neck, next to a locket containing Alessia's picture. He sat at the conference table. This Moretti Logistics has undercut my usual suppliers. I want to know who runs it. The double doors opened. Alessia walked in. She wore a tailored white suit, sharp, professional, powerful. Her hair was cut in a sleek bob. She didn't look at the floor. She looked straight at him. Vito stopped breathing. The pen in his hand snapped in half. Marco gasped. Holy. Vito stood up, his chair crashing backward. Alessia. She didn't flinch. She sat at the head of the table and opened a file. Mr. Falcone. My name is Elena Moretti. I believe we have business to discuss. Stop it, Vito whispered, walking toward her. He looked like he was seeing a ghost. He reached out to touch her face. Alessia caught his wrist. Her grip was iron. Touch me again, and my security team will put a bullet in your knee, she said coldly. It's you, Vito said, tears instantly filling his eyes. My God. You're alive. How? I saw the body. You saw what you wanted to see, she hissed. You saw a problem solved so your precious Scarlet could have her spotlight. Sit down, Mr. Falcone. Or leave. Vito fell to his knees right there in the conference room. The most feared crime boss in America was kneeling before a logistics manager. Alessia, I mourn you every day. I sleep in your room. I kept your clothes. I killed everyone who hurt you. Gianna is rotting in a cell. Scarlet is begging on the streets. Please. I thought I killed you. You did, she said, her voice devoid of emotion. The girl who loved you died that night. She died when you listened to your sister's lies while I was screaming in agony. She died when you let them break her fingers and poison her blood. She pulled up her sleeve, revealing the ugly, twisted scar. Vito flinched as if he'd been struck. He tried to kiss the scar, but she yanked her arm away. I have a business to run, she said. Sign the contract or don't. I don't care. I'll sign anything, Vito choked out. Just come home, please. I have a home. It isn't with you. Was there a baby? Vito asked, his voice trembling with a desperate hope. Alessia's eyes narrowed. This was the moment. She could lie. She could hide Enzo forever. But before she could speak, the door creaked open. Mama. I forgot my toy. Enzo peeked in. He saw the big man on his knees. Vito froze. He looked at the boy. He saw the black hair, the jawline, and the amber eyes, Alessia's eyes, but set in his face. Santino. Vito whispered the name he had given the grave. His name is Enzo, Alessia said, standing up and blocking Vito's view of the boy. Eris, take him out. Now. Vito stood up, the shock turning into a desperate, frantic energy. He's mine. He's alive. You kept my son from me. You forfeited your right to be a father when you left us to die. Alessia shouted, losing her cool for the first time. You chose Scarlet's bastard over your own flesh and blood. I didn't know. Vito roared, tears streaming down his face. I was a fool. I was blind. But I am his father. You are nothing to him, Alessia spat. You are the monster in his bedtime stories. Vito refused to leave Naples. He bought the hotel. He bought the villa next to hers. He sent flowers every hour. He sent toys for Enzo that filled the driveway. Alessia burned the flowers. She donated the toys. But danger has a way of finding the Falcones. News of Vito's discovery reached America. Scarlet, destitute and desperate, had linked up with a rival gang, the Rossi family, who wanted the West Coast territory back. They realized that Vito had a weakness again. A wife and a son. 2 weeks later, Alessia was driving Enzo to his private school when a black van slammed into the side of her car. Glass shattered. Airbags deployed. Men in masks dragged Alessia out. She fought like a tigress, gouging eyes, kicking, screaming. But they were too strong. They grabbed Enzo. Let him go. She screamed. Vito Falcone sends his regards. One of the men laughed, a lie to confuse her. They threw them into the van. Vito received the video call an hour later. It was Scarlet. She looked haggard, her beauty gone, replaced by a meth-addicted gauntness. She was holding a knife to Enzo's throat. Alessia was tied to a chair, bleeding from her head. Hello, brother-in-law, Scarlet cackled. Look who I found. Vito went unnaturally still. Marco, standing behind him, felt a chill go down his spine. This wasn't rage. This was something worse. This was the calm before a nuclear blast. Scarlet, Vito said softly. If you scratch his skin, I will peel yours off. I want the territory, Scarlet demanded. Sign over the West Coast. And I want $50 million. Or the boy dies. And the bitch dies, for real this time. Done, Vito said. Where? The old shipyard. Come alone. Vito hung up. He opened his gun safe. He didn't take a pistol. He took 2 assault rifles, a machete, and several grenades. Boss, we need a team, Marco said. No, Vito said, loading a clip. They touched my wife. They touched my son. This is personal. The warehouse was dark, smelling of rust and sea salt. Alessia was conscious, watching Scarlet pace. He won't come alone, Alessia said, her voice raspy. He'll bring an army. He loves you too much, Scarlet sneered. He's stupid when it comes to you. Suddenly, the lights cut out. Click. The sound of a single boot step echoed in the vast warehouse. Scarlet. Vito's voice boomed from the darkness. It sounded like the voice of God. I gave you a chance to leave. I showed you mercy. Show yourself. Scarlet screamed, pressing the knife to Enzo's neck. Enzo whimpered, brave but terrified. Bang! A shot rang out from the rafters. The knife in Scarlet's hand disintegrated, along with 3 of her fingers. She screamed, dropping the weapon. Vito dropped from the walkway above, landing in the center of the room. Scarlet's hired thugs opened fire. Vito moved like a wraith. He didn't seek cover. He walked forward, the rifle in his hands spitting fire. He took 2 bullets to the Kevlar vest on his chest, but he didn't stop. He shot one man in the head, another in the throat. He reached the man holding Alessia. He didn't shoot him. He dropped the gun, pulled out the machete, and severed the man's arm. Alessia watched stunned. She had seen Vito violent before, but never like this. He was a demon protecting his horde. Within 2 minutes, 12 men were dead. Only Scarlet remained, clutching her mangled hand, cowering in the corner. Vito rushed to Enzo first. He cut the ropes. He pulled the boy into his arms, checking him frantically. Enzo, are you hurt? Did she hurt you? I'm okay, Enzo whispered, looking at this terrifying bloody man. Are you my dad? Vito choked back a sob. Yes. Yes, I am. And I am so sorry I wasn't there. He turned to Alessia. She was already untied. She looked at him, blood dripping down his face. You came, she said softly. I would burn the universe for you, Vito said. He turned to Scarlet. Vito, please. Scarlet begged. We're family. Vito looked at Alessia. She's yours. Alessia stood up. She walked over to Scarlet. She remembered the drugs. She remembered the locked door. She remembered the snake. Alessia didn't kill her. That was too easy. Marco, Alessia called out as Marco finally ran in with backup. Call the police. Tell them we found the kidnapper. And tell the press. Let the world know what she did. Prison. Scarlet screamed. No, just kill me. Death is peace. Alessia said coldly. Rotting in a cage, knowing you had it all and lost it? That is hell. Vito was in the hospital for 3 days recovering from the gunshot bruises and a graze on his shoulder. When he woke up, Alessia was sitting in the chair next to his bed. Enzo was asleep on the foot of the bed. You should rest, Alessia said. I can't, Vito rasped. If I close my eyes, I'm afraid you'll disappear again. Alessia stood up and walked to the window. I can't forget, Vito. I can't forget the pain, the betrayal. I know, Vito said. I will spend the rest of my life making it up to you. I will grovel every day. I will step down as Dawn if you want. We can go away. Just, don't take him away from me again. Don't take you away. Alessia looked at him. She saw the man who had destroyed an army for her. She saw the man who had destroyed himself with guilt for 5 years. I'm not the same woman, she said. And I'm not the same man, he replied. Maybe those 2 new people can find a way. Alessia walked back to the bed. She sat on the edge. She reached out and traced the line of his jaw. You have a lot of work to do, Falcone, she whispered. Vito leaned into her touch, closing his eyes, a single tear escaping. I have a lifetime. 10 years later, the Falcone empire was different now. It was run by a partnership. Vito and Alessia. They were feared, yes, but they were respected. In the garden of the estate, a 14-year-old Enzo was teaching his younger sister, Sofia, how to throw a knife. Not like that, Enzo laughed. Like Dad showed us. Wrist straight. Vito stood on the balcony, his arm around Alessia's waist. He kissed her temple. They are perfect, Vito said. Alessia leaned her head on his shoulder. The scars on her arm were faded now, covered by tattoos of flowers. Life growing over death. We made it, she said. We did, Vito agreed. But only because you were strong enough to survive me. Alessia smiled, turning to kiss him. I didn't just survive you, Vito. I saved you. Down in the garden, the children laughed, the sound echoing through a house that was no longer a prison, but a home.